Hello everybody and welcome back to episode number 3 here in the Prehistoric Crater. Today we're working on oxygen and cooling if we have time. Right now we have done a little bit of digging around and we are really suffering with carbon dioxide everywhere. And part of that is because I have a lot of carbon dioxide, but the bigger part is I don't have enough oxygen. So we're going to solve both of those problems right away. So step number 1, I think, is the simpler of the two, and that is I'm going to put in a carbon skimmer. So we have that down here. I need to check, I'm not quite sure, as far as filtration goes, if I have 16 tons of sand. It's not a huge amount, but I have some. I guess I can always turn rock into sand too, but it'll be enough for now for our short-term solution. Refinement, I need a water sieve. And we're going to set it up like this. This is a pretty standard setup for handling carbon. We just have the... Oh, I have this backwards. Refinement, water sieve. I want to switch the inputs like this. So we're just going to run a pipe from here to here. And we're going to run one from here to here. And that means when we fill it up with some water, it will allow us to continue to pull in the carbon dioxide and clean the air. It'll create polluted water. Polluted water will get cleaned, and it'll go back into our carbon skimmer to create the cycle. So we're gonna need power for that, and we're just gonna throw down a peat burner right next to it, and that means that the power from this, or not the power, but the carbon dioxide from this, will just get cleaned up by the carbon skimmer down here as well. We need to put in a pump, liquid pump up at the top. We need to put in a pump to get some water. I'm going to crack into this one just because we are down here. So let's do it. Let's go there. We'll put in some ladders like this, and we'll crack in here to get to it. And we'll run the power line from our peat burner down here as well. And then we're going to run a liquid pipe up, and we'll come across, and we'll just put a bridge on, get the line full, and that should be everything we need. So once that all gets built and we deliver some sand, this should run pretty much forever. We can disconnect the pump then, and it will clean up the carbon dioxide down here, which is good. We have a bunch of carbon dioxide coming from our smokers. We also have the carbon dioxide from our duplicants. So also going to take this pipe, and I'm going to run it down all the way down here, and I'm just going to run it across and have it output right above the carbon skimmer. That way it's going straight in, and we don't have carbon dioxide working its way down there. Should help getting rid of some of the carbon. We'll have to go through and clean some stuff up, but that means we'll be able to get oxygen down here. The next step after that is going to be setting up oxygen. And so I need to decide where I want to do that. But we're going to do a Hydra-based oxygen system. Probably not quite as big as I did in the last playthrough I did, because that was, we built it really big because we wanted to produce a ton of hydrogen so we could get super sustainable done. This time I don't care about that. We're going to skip over that, and we're going to go straight into using non-renewable energy sources. So I'm going to look around. I'm going to find a good spot. We have a bunch of water to start, so we can get that turned into oxygen for now. And then we have some oxygen or water sources that we can use to create more in the future. Well, I got our system here running. This is what I get for not really paying attention to what I was doing. I did not look that closely at the peat burner. I did not realize it also gives off polluted water. So I quick had to put a block here to prevent it from spilling out, and I'm working on adding some extra stuff in. I also, it's hard to plan things when you are doing it on camera, and originally I had just connected this up, and that would have been just the peat burner running forever. I don't want to do that. I have a lot of peat. I don't have tons and tons of peat. Oh, I have meat. I don't want people eating that meat. I want it turned into barbecue. It's fine. I don't want it running forever, so I ran power from here into a smart battery that's connected to a transformer, and then that goes out and sends out power. And then I have some automation that shuts this off unless I go below 50% power. Simple, easy. Who's suffocating? Oh no. Okay, good. She can get up there now. So the power grid, it's not going to have a lot of draw right now, so it'll kick on when power drops below 50%. It'll go back up to 90, and then it'll sit there. So we're not burning peat all day long, which is good for a couple reasons. I don't want to go through all the peat. I also don't want to be pumping out polluted water and carbon dioxide when I don't need to. So all good. For now, this will work. It'll do the thing. We're getting a lot of suffocation because of all this carbon dioxide down here, and they're working down here without Atmos suits. So we need to be careful with that. But we're getting there. This pump is currently not pumping up any water because this is already filled. So I can remove this bridge now, and we'll be all good. This will run as long as we have sand and carbon dioxide to go into it. So we're set. This gas vent is coming from the smokers, so I removed the old one, and we'll slowly eat up all of this carbon dioxide that has built up, and that will go down. I dug out this entire area here while we were working on that, and I don't need all this space, but I wanted to have space to work with. This is where we're going to build our Hydra system. If you don't know what a Hydra is, I will show it to you as I build it, but it is a electrolyzer-based oxygen system where you use an electrolyzer where you pump in water and you get out oxygen, hydrogen, and heat. It is kind of one of those things that is debated in the game by many people because some people see Hydras as exploitive because they use infinite storage techniques. I personally, doesn't bother me, but sometimes I like to work around it. There are other ways to do it. I'm going to use it in this one. I'm going to try to set up some automation to make it so it isn't quite as exploity, I guess you could say. We're going to use some automation to shut it off when the pressures build too high, so we're not just infinitely storing things. Though I'm not super worried about it. I don't mind infinite storages, and it's a single player game. So if you do, there are ways to do it without using infinite storages, and there are ways that you can do it with it. It's really up to your preference. So I'm going to set it up in here. I'll show you the steps as I go, but I kind of have to plan it out to figure it out. So let's do a little bit of that together, and then I'll work out some more things. The big part is we need to have a space to put our hydras, which is the Hydra is an electrolyzer that you put down, and then you flood it with two different liquids. So we will be putting salt water down first, and then water on top, and then we will have the gases from the electrolyzer coming out of the system like this. So we will have, let me just put it down, I can show you, we'll have two of them connected up in a series. Well, I think I'm actually going to end up doing 4, but we'll do it like this, and then this would have blocks in all the other spaces so that they're enclosed, and again, we would put liquids inside them. What happens is the electrolyzer, when it is flooded by a small amount of liquid, still runs, and because liquids can't mix and they stack based on their density, if we put salt water in and then we put water on top, we'll have all 4 tiles here filled with water or liquid that can't move. When the electrolyzer produces gases, it puts it in the top left corner of the electrolyzer. And so when the gas is created, because the liquid is there and it doesn't have anywhere to go, if there is a space for the gas to go, it will go. So we'll use this airflow tile to put oxygen in, these two to put hydrogen in, and this one to put oxygen in. And then we'll connect them up in a way that makes it so that they always stay that way. And that will give us the ability to run this continuously and just have the oxygen and hydrogen come out. And then we'll set up pumps to send the oxygen and hydrogen where we need it to go. So that's the goal. We need to figure out a bunch of math kind of stuff to figure out how much space I need for pumps and things like that. But you don't need to do it perfectly efficiently. You can build an area where you can put pumps for the oxygen and the hydrogen, and then add or take away as you will. So there's lots of different ways we can do it. So I'm going to come up with a plan of how I want to do it, and then we'll come back and build it to get it so that it's working properly. Just to make it easier while we're building, I put in the structure of our building here first. So I'm going to just show you what we're going to be doing here, give you an idea of how it's all going to work. So on this side, I built a space for us to put in electrolyzers. So we're going to, I only have iron or nickel as an option for them. Nickel has an overheat temperature of 75, and so does iron. So I'm just going to go with nickel because I have more of it. If we need to later on, we can deconstruct this and swap them out for other metals. It'll be a pain, but it can be done. There's going to be 4 of the electrolyzers in a row here. I decided to build it as a single tower. So there's going to be 1, 2, and then this one, once we remove the ladder, we can put the last one there. We need that there for now to be able to get in and out. I left space here to get in as well. So those will get built, and we're going to work on this one down here at the bottom first because we need to put in the right liquids and then work our way up. So this bottle emptier, I'm going to set to salt water. I'm going to make it a high priority, and I'm going to enable it. I want enable the auto bottle. That way they go get me a full bottle of salt water. That's the goal. So while they're getting that, let's just look at some other things. We have a couple bottle drainers here. I'm just using that to create liquid locks. I like to do it this way because then I can put in an Atmos or a Hydra sensor, and as soon as the Hydra sensor is tripped, because there's 500 kilograms of salt water there, it'll shut off. Because I have a tendency to forget about it and then flood areas that I don't want to flood. But that's going to create just a space that we can get in and out of both sides to do some work. Eventually we'll get rid of those as well. They aren't necessary. This side over here is where the pumps for our oxygen is going to go. So we'll put 2, 4, 6, and 8 in here. As far as our hydrogen goes, we're going to put it over here. When we look at the electrolyzers, each electrolyzer produces 888 grams per second of oxygen and 112 grams per second of hydrogen. So that means we're producing, when it's running at full speed, 448 grams per second of hydrogen. So one gas pump, which can move 500 grams per second, could empty out all the hydrogen from this side of the storage. So we don't have to worry about it being having more than one pump in there, because even if it's running at full capacity, we won't be using more than one. Thought about putting in 2 just so I can have a full line coming out. I might actually change that up. I'll think about it while we're finishing the rest. Over here, 888 times 4 is 3552. It's just over 3,500. So 7 pumps would be able to do 3,500. 8 and do 4,000, which means we could empty the oxygen out of here. There's also enough space I can put in some automation so I can shut things down if we go over pressure. If I decide I want to do that, I think I'm going to let it go and let it infinitely store, because I'm going to use infinite storage at other points anyway. I might set myself a challenge to do a map without infinite storage at some point, but I personally really like infinite storage. I think it just makes things tidy, and I like it. There are downsides to it, but like I said, it's a personal decision which ones you want to do. So this, we need to get the salt water in first. I guess they went and got a small bottle of salt water. I wanted them to get me a full one, but they didn't. It's okay. We just need to get enough that it's going to put at least 100 kilograms of salt water, or 100 grams of salt water across the bottom of each of these tiles, but we don't want it to go above, I think it's 300 is when it will flood. I'm not exactly positive. Might be higher than that. But we basically just want it to have at least 100. Once we have that, then we can turn this off. So they're getting another, they have little ones from down here that I mopped up. They're grabbing them first. Kind of a pain. So they're getting that all put in for me, and then this will be filled up. Okay, I think this bottle will do it because they finally got me a full bottle. That's good. So we're going to go until this is filled, and then what we'll do, I want it to be over 100, so let's go. Now we're good. So we're going to turn off the salt water, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to build the next tile up so we can move. I also need to get some plumbing installed in here, and I want to do that before I start sealing this off. So we're just going to do regular pipes in here, and we're going to have a line that goes like this, just so I can get to all of these. And then I also need a power line. I don't have a ton of metal, but I did make enough so that I can have a refined line going through here. So we're going to go through all of these, and we'll come down like this and have it go to there. We can reach all of that from the outside, but I want to make sure I get the ones inside done first so that we don't seal this off and then we don't have a way to get in there. This area we'll have access to, it's what the ladder's for, and this up here. It's just the section for the electrolyzer we need to do as we're building it so that we can make sure it's all sealed. So I'm going to finish getting all this put in. The next thing on this is to switch this to water. So now it's, somebody will just go and grab me a bucket of water. I put the pitcher pump down here now because this one got emptied out. So now they just have to run down here, they'll grab water, they'll come up, and they'll put it. Once we have the water in place, it'll stack on top of the salt water. This will be covered, and that means that this will be working, and we can seal it off. So we finished our first cell, and I just wanted to show you how it works when it's done. So now we have salt water that's taking up the two bottom tiles, and water that's taking up the ones above it. This square is the one that's important, because this is where the gas forms. So as long as I have a tile here in one of these spots and one here, if I prime them so that this one has the hydrogen in it and this one has the oxygen in it, when it forms, it will automatically put the gas where it needs to go. So now that that's done, we're building up the next one, and I already have salt water being emptied down in. Once that salt water is empty, we can turn it off. And we can switch to water. This, you can see the salt water down here has 100 kilograms per tile. And that means that we'll be able to get water on top of that and finish this one. So we're just working our way up, getting all of these filled in so that they're sealed with the correct amount of liquids on them, and they'll stay that way for the entirety of what we're doing. Again, I might need to come in and make some changes to this later because these are nickel, and I might need to do something to handle that. I think they'll be fine because this shouldn't get so hot that it's going to be an issue. But you know, we're just trying to get something running here at the beginning. We need to refine it later. We can do that, absolutely. So once this is finished, I'm going to get all of these done, and then we're going to work on getting the system primed and ready to go and connecting everything up to it. After I finished the bottom 3 cells, I had to make some changes because I had this bottle emptier here and I needed to build the wall there. So I temporarily removed our supercomputer, broke a hole in the floor so I could get in on both sides here. And the bottle emptier there. So now we can use this to get the salt water in there that we need. And then the water, and then we'll seal this all up. After that, all we have to do is connect everything so that we can get it running. I don't need to run the whole thing, but I do have all the things I need in order to do that connected. I actually need a pipe that goes in there, but I can build that from outside. And then I'm going to have to connect that to the water source. I'm going to have to connect some piping for our gas pumps, and I'm going to have to connect power, but that will make it work. I want to get this sealed up before I do, but what the next step is going to be is to get all the gases out of here so that we can prime this system with the right gases. To do that, I need to set up a place where I can get those gases to start. I might just run the electrolyzer and run it in. I do have some hydrogen over here, but I think it would be a challenge to get in there to get it. Actually, I have some up here. I could probably do that. Let's do that. I'm going to go up here I'm going to dig here. Hydrogen will stay and everything else will settle down. Then I can put a pump here and I can get a place for me to get it. So I'm going to put down a canister filler. We'll put it right here. We'll put a gas pump in up here. And we will run gas pipe in here. Then I guess we're going to have to run the power line up. I was thinking I would just put peat burners where I need them to, but that was before I realized that they give off some of that water made its way through. That's not what I wanted. They'd give off polluted water too, and that's going to be a mess. So looks like mess is the name of the game. I'm going to put a block here real quick so that if it continues to spill, we don't have that as a problem. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to get up in here. I'm going to get some hydrogen put into this gas canister filler so that I can get it in there. That way when I want to fill this up with hydrogen, I can go in and I can just put a bottle or canister emptier, get a little bit of hydrogen in there, remove that, put the pump back in. But for the time being, what I need to do is get this set up with a vent that goes outside. That way I can vacuum all the oxygen that's in here out of that room to get it to a vacuum state. This needs saltwater enabled. Do I not have access to saltwater anymore? I do. Maybe it's just not high enough priority. Is that the problem? Okay, we'll just set it high priority. Get them to do it. So we're going to do that to get the gas out of here. On this side, this is mostly oxygen. Oh no, we got... Oh yeah, this is on the hydrogen side. We have a little bit of carbon dioxide here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this tile. I'm going to let that carbon dioxide settle out. And then when I seal this back up, it'll already be primed as oxygen because I don't see any other gases in here. You want to be careful to make sure you don't have like a stray polluted oxygen in here, because if it gets in here and it gets trapped in this tile and this tile, then the oxygen will have nowhere, actually just this tile, because this it's here, so it needs to go here, 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 here. These three are all going to be hydrogen. So if this one is polluted oxygen, even for a second, there's not going to be anywhere for the oxygen to go. It's going to push the fluids out of the way. It's going to break your whole system. So make sure this is oxygen and it's sealed before you turn the system on, because otherwise you're going to have a bad day. So we're going to get all of this running, get it all primed up and ready to go. And then I will connect everything and I'll turn it on so you can see what we're going to do as far as the oxygen production. Later on, we'll have to do using the hydrogen to self-power this system, which is our next goal. And then the real challenge starts. I want to get Atmos suits going, which still requires some more research, but also I was thinking about it. This map, I won't have reed fiber, which means I looked in to see how we can do it. So if I look at the Atmos suits, the only thing we can do is get feather fiber, which comes from shearing a Rex, and I don't know how challenging that's going to be, but it's going to be fun. The more dinosaurs to play with, so that's going to be on our next episode, getting those tamed and getting Atmos suits, and also continuing on our project down here to get some cooling going, because we have the heat from this that still needs to be cooled off. We have more heat building up in the map, and the oxygen is going to come out pretty hot too. So we're going to definitely need to set up a system to cool everything down. So those are our next priorities after this. But let me finish this up and then I will show you this working before we call it a day today. Everything is ready to be primed. We have this side, it just has oxygen in it. Something I wanted to note, since I don't have Atmos suits, I sealed the room off. I have the bottom pumps ready to be connected. I don't have piping done for the rest, but I don't need them right now. I sealed it because otherwise our duplicants will be going in there to do the work, and they'll be exhaling, and I'll get more carbon dioxide. For now, it's sealed. I can turn these on so things will work, and then once I have Atmos suits, I'll open it back up. They can finish up the rest of the construction. On this side, I made a vacuum, so this is empty. I put in this canister emptier. We're going to put hydrogen. I'll put enable auto bottle, but I don't think I have any bottles other than the ones that are on the floor. Because what I did is basically this bottle or canister filler, I just have been pumping gas into it and then dropping everything in it onto the floor. So there's some hydrogen in there. So Catalina is grabbing it, bringing it down here. it doesn't matter how much is in here because it's a vacuum. So as soon as we get any hydrogen in there, it'll fill the room up. And because there's oxygen here, I think in theory, the oxygen should go this way and the hydrogen should go that way. It would be better to have this room have more hydrogen in it to make sure, but I think that this should work. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't, I'm going to have to vacuum this back out again and fix it, because if it puts oxygen and hydrogen in here, it's going to cause an issue. That's okay. We're going to let this empty. We'll get all 7 kilograms in there. I made some spaghetti down here. I have a couple of peat burners running. They're set up to the same automation, and I just ran heavy watt wire up because I didn't want to have to run conductive wire all the way across the map. This is just all temporary. Everything is here. It's temporary. Once we get rid of Himalaya, we can do a more permanent setup. We're just trying to just keep things going, get things moving towards the Atmos suits and everything so that we can get in there. I've been also digging out this area just so I have something for my duplicants to do while this was running, because they're all pretty much idle when otherwise, because the crops are doing fine. Growth halted. Oh, because of pressure. Oh yeah, see, we are just in time because we're running very, very low on oxygen because our algae, we still have some algae here. I guess if we, maybe it's just a flow problem, but we're going to get this running to pump out some oxygen. So let's get this going. So we need to connect power to our electrolyzer here at the bottom. And I'm going to bring up the gas overlay. And in theory, let's just look at gas. In theory, when I unpause, this is going to run. You can see none of this liquid is moving, but the hydrogen is going up. So is the oxygen. And so this room will start to fill up with oxygen, this one with hydrogen. We can take this back out, which means we can put the gas pump back in there. The next episode, we will work on getting this hydrogen used to create a self-powering situation. But for now, that will be good. And then down here, because we need that oxygen, let's connect these 2 pumps that I have wired up. And that means this oxygen can go out. Another thing we should do is put in some automation for our pump there. I guess I can't get in there to do it without... You know what? We're just going to have to deal with it the way it is. You know what? I think we should be okay. I'm going to risk it because I really do want automation in there. So we're going to plan it all out here beforehand. We'll do automation wires to connect these 2. They're going to go there. And so once we get in, we'll put down an Atmos sensor and we'll click it out. If there is any carbon dioxide that gets released in here, it's going to settle down here anyway, and these pumps will pump it out. So it'll be fine. But I want to set automation so that it doesn't empty this room out. Because if it empties all the oxygen out, then it'll screw up where the oxygen goes, and we might get hydrogen in this room. So we need a Atmos sensor there that prevents this from emptying the oxygen inside this room. So for now, let's disconnect those pumps because I don't want them pumping until they are controlled. So yeah, we'll remove that ladder, go here, we'll get an Atmos sensor, and we'll put that down right here, which will make it so that we can control when this runs, and will only run if this is above 500 grams or whatever, 500 kilograms. That way we have always have oxygen in this room. We don't pump it dry. Okay, and there we go. We have that automation hooked up. We're going to reconnect our power line, and now we can pump gas out of here. It will keep at least 1 kilogram of oxygen in this room, and so that way we'll never pump the room dry, we'll never break the seal, and this system can run forever. So as long as we're sending water in, this will now be sending gas out. I'm going to remove this gas vent. I ran a new line, deconstruct. I ran a new line that goes up this way so we can get oxygen coming out in a more centralized place for our base, which will hopefully give us some more oxygen. Also explains why our people are hanging out down here rather than up there. But our plants are not growing because they ran out of gas pressure. Not good. Not good at all. So we'll get oxygen up here and we'll get that back and running. We already have 250,000 calories of food, so we had a nice little safety buffer, not a problem. And everything's running good with gases now. So next episode, atmosuits, cooling, getting up to take care of Demolier. We're already through a quarter of our time, so I wasn't stressed about it, but I'm getting close to the point where I'm gonna start stressing about it. So that is going to be a priority soon. But we do need to get infrastructure set up. I can't go into space without atmosuits. I can't do that without oxygen. So we're getting there. This episode's a lot longer than the last one. I am trying to get to the 20-minute mark on episodes, but I wanted to fit everything into one. Enough said. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.